Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of What's Driving Token Prices. I'm your host, Katie Talati, Director of Research at Arca. For those joining us for the first time, I'm responsible for analyzing and identifying digital asset and blockchain opportunities for Arca's funds. As part of our research, my team and I examine token prices and the market events that act as catalysts for price change. Based on our research and market events over the past week, here are some notable token price movements and what we think drove these moves. As a reminder, this commentary is not intended to be investment advice, investment research, or an investment recommendation. Please consult your investment professional for your own circumstances. All right, guys, welcome to what has been an incredibly exciting week. We have a lot to talk about today. A few particular tokens, but yeah, the market has been ripping. So it's great to see it. The market's actually up above 1 trillion in total market cap again. So let's just get to it. So we're going to start by talking about Atom or Cosmos. So Cosmos is the interoperability blockchain. This last week, Zaki Manian, one of the original Atom 2.0 creators, posted a proposal to cut Atom emissions to a maximum of 10% from around 20% annually. So the proposal is generally generating a lot of discussion. It's currently unclear what the general consensus will be. A reduction in inflation would incrementally be positive for Atom since inflation is among the highest of all the L1s. And it's definitely been a concern. So we're waiting to see how that one plays out, still in kind of like discussion phase right now. The research provider Blockworks also put forward a tokenomics proposal in the last few weeks that seeks to implement a validator and community tax and introduces quadratic voting. The move, however, is unlikely to create a lot of demand for Atom, at least in the same way that just reducing the inflation would. So Atom, unfortunately, has failed to keep up with the broad-based rally over the last few days and is only up 12% on the week. All right, next I'm going to talk about Bitcoin. So obviously a lot of people have been asking, like, why did Bitcoin rally? Like, what's going on there? So just here to talk to you about a few specific reasons. So like I said, we'd be kind of remiss if we didn't talk about Bitcoin this week as it really led the rally. The move higher was spurred by a number of kind of smaller events, which helped propel Bitcoin forward. So first, Bitcoin has already had a lot of positive tailwinds following the SEC, the ETF filings from BlackRock and others. This news, coupled with pressure on the SEC to approve an ETF, has bolstered the belief that a Bitcoin ETF could be approved very soon. So, for example, Grayscale, when the SEC announced they're not going to appeal the Grayscale court decision to transfer their trust to an ETF open-ended product. And so, a lot of people are starting to really gear up for what could potentially be the approval of a Bitcoin ETF, which would be fantastic. So over the weekend, a slight move higher in Bitcoin and end up catching a lot of dealers in the derivatives market offsides, as a lot of people were short, essentially. So this is a very dumbed down explanation, by the way. So if you are in derivatives, I apologize. I was just trying to make this more broad for every audience. But the idea is basically that a lot of dealers were kind of short in some aspect or another. And as the price of Bitcoin ended up moving up in a very volatile, thin liquidity environment, a lot of these dealers had to end up buying Bitcoin spot to cover these short positions. So essentially it just, that creates a bit of a flywheel effect and pushes the price of Bitcoin up further. And it ended up pushing Bitcoin up above 30K, which had been kind of like this level that we'd been fighting for a while on a more technical front. On Monday, BlackRock did refile their ETF application, and the DTCC, the Direct Deposit Corporation, added the ticker symbol for the ETF product, which will be IBTC. So the market basically interpreted this as a sign that the launch is imminent, and Bitcoin saw another 9% gain just in that overnight bit. So the rally in Bitcoin has pulled the whole market up, as a lot of tokens have rallied with over 50% of inflows to Bitcoin related products. There was about a 50%. There's been, some tokens rallying as much as 50% on this news, while inflows to Bitcoin related products jumped over 120 million in the last week, equal to about 1/3 of the inflows we've seen year to date. Some other context too, a lot of people aren't really sure when the ETF will be approved. BlackRock could really just be shoring up all of their different loose ends to ensure that when they do have approval, they can launch as quickly as possible. But like I said, the market is kind of taking this as a sign of excitement. They want to see, they want to see kind of a happy ending for the crypto market. So we will see. But Bitcoin's up 23% on the week, which is absolutely incredible. All right, last up, we're going to talk about DYDX. So DYDX has had So yesterday, DYDX announced their long-awaited V4 launch. So that starts with the launch of the DYDX chain, which is an app chain built using the Cosmos framework or Cosmos SDK. So while the chain is live, the front end for the perpetual exchange is not yet available. DYDX initially expects a migration period between Starknet and Ethereum Layer 2, on which DYDX is currently running on, to the new Cosmos-based app chain. So the launch is also going to introduce this DYDX operations subDAO, which will govern and guide the new chain. And just over a week ago, DYDX Trading also announced that they're going to transition their charter from a for-profit company to a public benefit charter. Then this morning, they also explained that the Genesis event, which is basically when the chain begins producing blocks, is going to start tomorrow, followed by a staged release and migration to the chain activated by a governance vote. And apparently tomorrow they'll have more details on the front end bridge between DYDX V3 and V4. This will be definitely really interesting. There's not a lot of instances we have where projects go from, at least just yet, where we have projects migrating from, Ethereum or a layer 2 and migrating to their own chain. We're definitely seeing this as more of a pattern. For example, Maker has, done this and expressed that they're going to have their own Maker-based chain. Compound has, talked about this a lot recently. Frax is also planning on, creating their own roll-up on another chain. There's a lot of different instances of this. So it'll be a pretty interesting example. There's a lot of questions. Will users fall off? Will there be issues with the migration? All in all, these are kind of just, things to consider as things get going. But DYDX has soared on the news of this long-awaited launch. It's up 26% for the week, and we expect it to keep on going as launch updates roll out. Well, that's all I got for you guys this week. I hope you enjoyed our insights. Tune in here again next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific to hear what's driving token prices.